Hello, and welcome to the Natural Healers Network TV show. I'm Raylene S. Weaver, host of the show for today. The Natural Healers Network is a diverse group of South Bay professionals who support each other's businesses in promoting health and wellness, be it physical, mental, or spiritual, or all of the above. Today we have two special guests with us. Therese Walsh-Van Keuren, who is a doctor of Chinese medicine in the field of acupuncture, and Stacy Lennon, who is in the field of long-term care. She works with elderly and chronically ill. So I'd like to welcome you to our first guest today, Therese Walsh-Van Keuren.
Thank you, Raylene.
Therese, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome, and I'm really interested to hear about what you have to tell us today. So I know that we have a little demonstration, so I'll just get you guys excited about that, but we're going to make you wait a little bit till we do that. So let's just start out by finding out what the difference is between a licensed acupuncturist and a doctor of Chinese medicine.
Well, in Chinese medicine, that is considered by the National Institute of Health in Washington, D.C. as a whole medicine system. So in a whole medicine system, one could treat any person with any condition. So that's Chinese medicine's premise in this country. And a licensed acupuncturist is awarded to someone by the state of California who's qualified to practice acupuncture. Okay. So they need to get a license to practice in order to be legal. And that licensure is granted to anyone who has gone through acupuncture school, which is based on TCM, traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay. And so you have done both then?
I have a license of acupuncture, and I also have a PhD. So when you get a PhD in classical Chinese medicine, such as I have, then you have a broader base of knowledge, and you also contribute to research. So you do your research, and that goes into the worldwide contribution of Chinese medicine, and there's less than 1% of all acupuncturists, licensed acupuncturists, have a PhD or have a higher degree.
Wow. In
Chinese medicine.
So what was your calling to go ahead and get the doctorate?
My teacher in Manhattan is the basis of how the program was established. Mm-hmm. And he comes from an oral tradition. His name is Jeffrey Keuren. And his oral tradition has never been written down before. So the PhD program that I took was based on documenting and making an oral tradition written.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so that's what inspired me to do it, because I have studied with him since 1994, and I thought that the PhD program, which I started in 2000, would be a great opportunity for me to continue studying with him, mm-hmm. but actually also make a contribution to my field.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, wow. So having it in writing and having it published or whatever, it's something that will last on forever.
Forever, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the other publications or the other things that you do in your field.
So I've published this book, The Application of Divergent Meridian Theory, mm-hmm. and that book was published based on the dissertation work that I did and the manual that I created to help other acupuncturists do this particular type of acupuncture and herbal medicine. So it's based on Jeffrey's work.
Fantastic.
So,
how old is he?
I don't know for sure. I don't know if anyone really knows for sure, but I think he's around 50-something, maybe.
Oh, so young. I was thinking a master. I was thinking someone.
He's been at it, for his entire life. He's a Taoist priest for his entire life.
Nice.
So,
what makes your style of acupuncture practice unique?
Well, I think that besides the having the higher degree, being in practice for 17 years, I think my patients are my greatest teacher. So I think that, the longer you have experience, the more you acquire through time. And besides, having been in private practice for 17 years, I also really consider myself a bridge between kind of the Western medical view of the world and of health and the Chinese medical view of the world and of health. So, yeah, I like to try to translate back and forth between the two systems.
Seems like the best of both worlds that people could get. That sounds fantastic. I think with Western medicine, a lot of people are looking for alternatives, and I'm always glad to see when there's different classes or different ways to kind of expand health. So it's nice that you had that calling early on and you're doing it. So where are you located? Where's your office located?
My office is in Los Gatos. And I feel very lucky to be there because it's a very health conscious community, and so I feel that it's been it's a blessing to be able to be there.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. How would you describe the kind of patients that are the best fit with your skill set?
Well, I think that the patients, I have a general practice, but the patients who come to me tend to have a lot of immune issues. That is the area of specialization that I've devoted most of my life to.
Okay.
So that can look very simple, like someone who gets a cold and a flu once a month and is constantly having to fight some issues of allergies or some issues of coming down with a cold or flu all the time. Or it could even look like someone who's been diagnosed with an identifiable autoimmune disease. That's also fairly easy because you know what's going on and you know how to approach that type of situation. The more mysterious patients who come to me don't know what's wrong with them. They've had a lot of diagnostic testing and everyone has said to them, there's nothing wrong with you, or we can't find anything wrong with you. There's nothing in these tests that would indicate that you're ill.
Okay.
But they feel horrible,
Sure.
and they know that there's something terribly wrong with them, but they don't know what it is.
Right.
And sometimes they get a suggestion, oh, maybe you have chronic fatigue syndrome, oh, maybe you have fibromyalgia, but they, again, can't get a definitive diagnosis. So they become very frustrated and very hopeless in some ways by the time that they come to me. So I think that for me, anything that deals with the immune system, rebuilding a weak immune system, or reconfiguring an inflammatory immune system, such as in an autoimmune condition, that tends to be my area of expertise.
Good, good. And so what kind of, excuse me, what kind of feedback do you get from your patients?
Well, since I didn't know how to answer that question, I thought maybe I would let my patients speak for me.
Okay.
And there's a couple of patients that I chose that I thought, they really touched me, and so I thought I would share that. Sure. One of my patients in Los Angeles said that, she said, "Thank you for your ongoing extraordinary support. The pain alleviated one day after seeing you." Another patient in Canada said, "Thank you for your honesty and kindness. You've been a very special guide on the path of life." Another patient of mine said, "You may never fully know how I appreciate the role you've played in my mom getting off of her meds. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." And lastly, I have had a Western medical doctor who's been a patient of mine too, and he says, "Thank you for your lucid help and understanding."
Fantastic.
So I thought it's much better to let them speak.
Have the real life testimonials. Good. Yeah, so it's definitely very helpful for a lot of people. What do you find you're most passionate about in your work?
I think the thing that I'm most passionate about from a theoretical point of view is that Chinese medicine is based on a naturalistic view of the human being and of the world. And so Taoism is one of the ways that they communicate that philosophy. So if you read anything about Taoism, this is the basis of Chinese medicine. So when the body and the mind are out of sync with the natural world and with the natural rhythms and seasons, then the body becomes, in perfect flow and the body stays healthy. But when you get out of sync with the natural order of things, then the body begins to break down, and that's the beginning of disease. So Chinese medicine is the guide to bring you back into flow with nature, or being in harmony with the way things should unfold in your life. And that, I think, is one of the biggest contributions that I think I can translate those ideas to people on a everyday modern world kind of basis.
Right.
And then the other passion that I have is just working on medical teams with people, with other people, trying to find the right recovery tools for a person. So I'm very passionate about working together with other healing practitioners or medical practitioners.
So it's a very collaborative approach.
Exactly.
Very nice. Yeah. It sounds like you're kind of living. You're a living example of the positive work that you do. So
thank you.
That's very nice. Let's see. We do. Can you tell us what your website is?
My website is www.truechi.com.
Okay, why don't you spell that?
That's TRUECHI.com.
Okay,
Truechi.com.
Thank you. All right, and you're in Los Gatos, and we promised a demonstration, so...
so I'll get started.
So go ahead.
So this is just a little alcohol swab. I'm just going to clean the area that I'm going to put the needle in. This is just a demonstration so that some people who may be afraid of needles would understand that this needle is extremely fine. It's like the strand of hair. I don't know, even know if you can see that, but it's very, very fine needle. And I'm just going to put it into this guide tube, put it on large intestine 4, tap it in, take the guide tube off, put it down to the proper depth that it's supposed to be at, and voila, this is acupuncture.
That's fantastic. I was joking with Therese at the beginning of the show, wondering if I would be the guinea pig, but she was gracious enough to say, "Oh, that's okay. You have enough to worry about." But the knowledge that you have of all of the different basic parts of the body and the nerve centers, that's through acupuncture, you can help relieve a lot of stress in certain parts of the body.
A lot of stress, a lot of pain, a lot of stagnation and growths even that shouldn't be there. So,
that's fantastic. All right, so thank you for that, and I hope the viewers, I hope you enjoyed that. So even though this medicine is 5,000 years old, it's relatively new to the American medical culture. It appeared here in the mid-70s. How do you teach others about the importance of Chinese medicine and the type of holistic health care that you can provide?
Well, I do teach as a professor at Five Branches University and also as a clinical supervisor there. I help the people that are studying to become acupuncturists with their education. So the other thing that I do is I have an approved off-site field location for people to come from the academic world into the clinical world and to study with me at my office in Los Gatos. So
it's like you're a teacher and a trainer as well.
Yeah, so I have that part of, I also do a lot of teaching of my colleagues. So I teach CEU classes at the Dharma Institute, and I also have public teachings as well. So I've been doing a lot of things in the community. I have taught a class with Oscar Gonzalez about pain and diet. And he has a company called Pain Free with Oscar. So we've collaborated, and then I'm giving a presentation to a stroke survivor group in Good Samaritan Hospital in July. So, you know, I do a lot of that kind of stuff through the years,
You're out in
too.
the community, and people are seeing you, and they're seeing what you do. That's fantastic. In closing, excuse me, what would you like people to know about the way you work as a doctor of Chinese medicine?
Well, I think that I have, you know, again, a broad view of Chinese medicine. I work with herbs, I work with supplements, I do NET, which is neuro-emotional technique, so I have that you know, practice as well. I just think that what I'd like them to know is that I have a larger reach on both Western medicine, functional laboratory testing, and applying Chinese medicine techniques to everything that I see with their health.
Fantastic.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Therese, thank you so much for being our guest today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing everything to share with us. It's been fantastic.
All right. Thank you, Raylene.
You're welcome. All right. Well, that concludes this portion of the show. Stay with us, folks, and we'll be right back with our next guest.